Howdy folks, I'm Pretty Pipevine Swallowtail, practically procuring perfect presents.
I'm Amber.
And here are more perfect presents for us to procure. Oh, and folks, if this is your first time viewing or you're a new subscriber, then welcome. This is a show where we pawn off your kids onto someone else for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, we do not have that ability. Please do not hold us to it.
Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to babysit again after sister didn't pick up her kids on time? Well, at the beginning of this week, I'm an 18-year-old female, babysat for my sister, a 26-year-old's, 2 kids, a 2-year-old and a newborn. She is a single mother and went to meet with friends to have lunch. She promised me that she would be back in a few hours. I didn't want to babysit since it would cost me precious exam prep time, and I was anxious because of the newborn and my zero experience, but she begged and cried so much, so I did. She didn't show up until yesterday in the evening, and I wasn't able to reach her during the 4 days and called every hospital if they had found a female body or what, because I was seriously thought that something major had happened to her. Turns out that she was partying and lost track of time, and I should just stay calm and not cause so much drama because everything is good and nothing bad happened to the kids. She didn't see the fact that I was shaking and had panic attacks. After she told me to shut up because she tried to sleep, I just packed up my stuff and now I'm on the train going to my place. Well, when I left, she called me and said, how dare I leave? Because I promised to take care of the 2-year-old when she goes to the hospital for an appointment on Saturday morning with a newborn. And that I had promised that before she partied, so no matter what, I had to keep my word. I felt a little guilty, but also afraid that she will continue like that and I need to protect myself. My mom and her think that I'm the jerk. My mom partially understands, but said that I should have been patient one more day until after the appointment. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. And honestly, it's probably time to get CPS involved if she is disappearing for 4 days at a time and you cannot contact her.
And she lost track of time.
Yeah. Something is not going on right here. I am wondering if she has some troubles with substances while she's doing all this partying. But even if she's just partying, if you're abandoning your kid because she abandoned the kid, like that was not what you agreed upon. When you leave your kid beyond that time, it's abandonment.
Yeah. She should have called the police, at a certain point in time. Then, I mean, I understand why OP wouldn't want to, but like, the police would probably the people to contact if at that point in time, right?
Right. And so, like, now, like, what's done is done. But it may be worth reporting this to CPS. And definitely do not babysit for her again because you can't trust that she's just going to disappear.
Well, and that's the problem I have here is that I know she says that she's not going to disappear for another 4 days, but she's already shown that she can.
Right. Well, and then the audacity to be like, well, you made this promise, so you can't break it.
Yeah.
Like, you made a promise to OP not to abandon your kids for 4 days, and you broke that. Like, you had a set return time.
A few hours is not a few days. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Suspicious Donkey 16 says, not the jerk. And how does your mom think that this is okay? If you babysit for her again, expect this to happen again. She's a mother and needs to be taking care of her children, not partying for days. And I don't think that she lost track of time for 4 days. She had this planned from the point when she had asked you. And South Hedgehog 7564 says, exactly. Next time, tell grandma to babysit. I mean, yeah, if the grandma can babysit, then maybe it's time for her to babysit.
Well, certainly it isn't OP's responsibility anymore. Like, if the mom wants to butt in with her 2 cents, yeah, she can pick up the babysitting.
And Millet Drop 750 says, not the jerk. She abandoned her children for 4 days without telling anyone where she was. That's not just irresponsible, that's borderline neglectful. You were terrified something had happened to her, had panic attacks, and still took care of her kids with zero experience. The fact that she came back and told you to shut up instead of apologizing says everything. You don't owe her anything. And setting boundaries doesn't make you the villain, it makes you the only adult in the room. And Just Shadow says, that's not just borderline neglect, it's straight up neglect. I get it's hard to be a mother, but dumping your kids on someone else for 4 days without any communication at all is diabolical. OP should definitely call CPS if she pulls a stunt like that again. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling a Mom That She's Too Strict? Hi everyone, throwaway account. I'm a 22-year-old female and I have started working at an after-school care program where my coworkers and I basically watch a group of kids and give them a snack until their parents can come and pick them up. I've really enjoyed it, and it can be stressful and difficult at times, but I am never bored. So basically, the other week, I was looking for something, and I asked in a joking voice to the kids, "Do you see the snacks?" Mocking a Dora the Explorer sort of voice. The kids laughed later, and I asked if they knew who Dora was, and they didn't, which made me feel old, lol. So I showed them who Dora was on my phone, and how she stared at the camera scarily. I showed them the end of the episode where she says, "What was your favorite part of the trip?" And then I replied, "When you got hit by the bus, fell down a hill, and hit your head." Then Dora replies to the audience, "I like that too." I thought that it was hilarious, and the kids did too. My coworkers were more hesitant, but we were glad to see the kids laughing. So basically, the next day, one of the moms, a 30s female, comes to pick up her daughter, a 7-year-old female, and tells her to wait outside of the room for a second so that she can talk to me. She asked me in an unnecessarily rude voice, "What are we saying about Dora getting hit by a bus?" And I laughed a little, and I told her that I expressed my thoughts about Dora the Explorer, and that I had hoped it would make her laugh as well. But she gave me this look and said that she didn't know if she liked it very much, and that it was very inappropriate. I laughed and said that she needed to stop acting so strict. Dora is a fictional character. She got super offended and said that I didn't think that the idea of her getting hit by a bus was all that funny, and she abruptly left. The daughter hasn't come back since, and to be honest, I just think that her mom needs to lighten up a little bit and change her parenting style. But now I'm being called into a meeting later today with my boss, and I'm a little nervous. To be honest, my boss is pretty understanding, so I think that she'll get how overly strict the mom was. But at the same time, I'm not sure because of this quote-unquote meeting. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, OP, you're the jerk. This is a very strange thing to do with small children.
Oh my goodness.
And when the parent complained, like, you should have just been like, "Oh, I understand. I won't do that again." Like, this is just like, I just don't know why you'd think it would be funny to joke to kids about, Dora the Explorer getting hit by a bus.
Well, plus glamorizing getting hit by a bus and stuff like that, I mean, like kids, especially very young children, can sometimes think things that are funny,
and don't understand the long-term consequences. Like, if someone gets hit by a bus, they're not necessarily going to make it. And like, what if they push their friend in front of a bus or something, thinking it's going to be funny?
Yeah. So a 22-year-old should probably know better, but it sounds like they have like a 6-year-old's humor. OP, there was a time and a place for funny jokes and stuff like that, or jokes like this, and that's in the company of peers who also enjoy jokes like this, not in the company of little children, where you need to be cautious about what you say in front of them, especially since you're the adult in the room. And as a 22-year-old watching over children, you are the adult in the room.
Yes.
So that's a life lesson. I'm pretty sure that OP probably didn't get out of this meeting still hired with their boss, right? Because those aren't things that you can get away from, right?
Right. Well, especially dismissing the parents' concern, because the mom went to OP directly and tried to like correct things. And so, again, even if you don't necessarily agree with the parents' approach to parenting, there's nothing dangerous or abusive about not wanting your kid to hear jokes about people getting hit by a bus.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Fake. Wheel, don't be rude. Don't be rude, Wheel. And Jeepers Creeper 74 says, Dora, what was your favorite part? Me, the part where OP gets fired for teaching kids that violence is funny, and then when she's applying to a new job and trying to explain why she was terminated from her last position, she claims that her old boss was quote-unquote too strict and needed to lighten up, because that always goes over well. Dora, I like that too. You're the jerk. I like that response.
Yeah, that comment is gold.
And Ryoko Kozanagi 69 says, I can see why you're the jerk. Talking to kids about getting hit by buses and cars, and then laughing out, into a joke kind of downplays the seriousness of teaching kids not to run into the road. The mom expressing that she thought that it was inappropriate to joke about the topic does not mean that she's too strict in the way that she's raising her daughter. Your opinion in telling the mom that she needs to be completely changing her parenting style just because she didn't find your joke funny is inappropriate, especially in the kind of work that you do. If you're going to be a child care professional, you need to act like one and take the parents' opinions into consideration. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for threatening to move out if my roommate doesn't kick out her teenage brother? So I'm a 24-year-old female and I've been sharing an apartment with my college friend, a 25-year-old female, for almost 2 years now. We've always been cool until recently, when her younger brother, a 17-year-old male, got kicked out of their parents' house for failing school. Without even asking me, she told him that he could crash at our place for a little while. It's been 3 months now. He sleeps on our couch, he plays video games all night, and barely cleans up after himself. Our utility bills have literally doubled since he arrived. The worst part, I caught him going through my room last week. When I confronted him, he said that he was just looking for headphones to borrow. I don't even own any headphones like his. My roommate brushed it off, saying that he's just a kid going through some stuff. Well, yesterday I came home early from work and found him wearing my hoodie, and that was the last straw. I told my roommate that he needs to be gone by the end of the month or I'm moving out. She completely flipped out, saying that I'm being cruel to a literal child who has nowhere else to go. She reminded me that she has to cover the rent the 1 month last year when I was between jobs. Now she's telling all of our mutual friends that I'm trying to make a teenager homeless because I'm selfish and materialistic about my stuff. But he's not my responsibility and he's literally invading my privacy. I feel bad because he is young, but I didn't sign up to live with a teenage boy who doesn't respect boundaries. Our lease is up in 4 months, and I'm considering just breaking it off early. So am I the jerk for giving an ultimatum about my roommate's brother? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Absolutely not the jerk. You deserve to feel safe and comfortable in your own home. You shouldn't have to worry about your things going missing or about the potential that your roommate's brother is creeping on you.
Yeah.
17 is old enough to know boundaries and privacy.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't like a 5-year-old. And even then, 5-year-olds need to learn that you don't go in other people's rooms when they're not home. But, he's 17. He knows what he's doing is wrong and he's doing it anyway.
Yeah.
And your roommate is completely blowing this off. She's acting like he's like a 5-year-old. He's not. He's 17. He knows better.
What are the odds that he's not looking for headphones?
Yeah, I know.
Right? Come on here, right? What's the 17-year-old kid doing in OP's room? OP needs to get a lock for their room ASAP. And potentially a security camera, too.
And break that lease.
Yeah, and breaking the lease is probably a good idea. And certainly I can understand OP's obligation or feeling obligated to, write things out until the end of the lease. And this is a frustrating situation because, he is 17, right? And he doesn't have anywhere else to go. And the other person's just trying to suffer through helping him out in this situation. The real, people who are bad in this situation are the parents who have kicked their 17-year-old out of the house, without having them find any other place to go. So
yeah, but on the other hand, his sister isn't doing him any favors either because
No.
this kind of behavior will not fly. She is coddling him to an unreasonable degree. It's one thing to, with OP's permission, give him the permission to stay in their place for a short period of time to get back on his feet, but he should actually be doing things to help him get on his feet, not playing video games all day long and not creeping on OP.
I think that OP is probably, again, the best solution that they have here is to move out, because at this point in time, the trust is already kind of broken between them and their roommate. If they say to their roommate, look, if he doesn't move out, then I'm, moving out, or if he's not out within a week, I'm moving out. Well, putting up a timeline like that could make him potentially, a dangerous individual. We don't know what kind of person he is or not, right? And that wouldn't be good to have OP put themselves in harm's way if he gets, angry at OP for, trying to take care of themselves.
Well, the roommate has already shown that they have no regard for OP because, if I were in the roommate's shoes, I would be horrified to know that my sibling was creeping through someone's stuff.
Yeah.
the way she's excusing this behavior and excusing him taking OP's property and trying to frame this like an OP issue, like not wanting her things stolen, is so materialistic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and she's throwing it in OP's face that she paid the rent for her for 1 month. Like, you've had your brother living here without OP's permission for 3 months, invading OP's space and all this stuff. Like, that's already more than made up for it.
Yeah.
There's no debt there.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's a really good point. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And OK Resource 8530 says, ask all of your mutual friends how they would like coming home and finding a virtual stranger going through your room and then wearing their clothes. You have been very patient. Ask the landlord if you can put a lock on the door and be truthful as to why. 9 times out of 10, he can't be there legally for any extended period of time. Tell your roommate that you'll be looking for a new place to live and that her brother needs to figure out how to pay his share of the rent. Also, tell them both that if anything of yours goes missing, you'll be filing a complaint with the police. I would like to know the reason your parents threw him out. I bet theft was involved. Update me. What do you think of that?
I mean, it's possible. It could be that the roommate is not being honest about why he was kicked out. I mean, that's definitely a possibility, but I don't know. We don't have enough information to speculate, really.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to speculate on something like this. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What's a horned mammal's favorite breakfast food?
Well, I would say a horned mammal's favorite breakfast foods are probably unicorn related, and probably something like the unicorn, would eat little marshmallow horseshoes in their cereal, and so that's what I'm saying. Little horseshoe marshmallows.
No, the answer is not Lucky Charms. It's goat meal.
Goat meal? That makes sense. That makes sense.
And today is National Oatmeal Cookie Day.
So, folks, go find yourself some oatmeal cookies, preferably from a stranger that you met on the street. Take them and eat them in front of them.
That is bad advice. Do not steal cookies and don't accept treats from strangers. There could be very bad consequences. We are not liable if you do this.
They wouldn't be accepting treats from a stranger. They would be stealing cookies from a stranger.
Well, they could still be bad consequences, and we are not liable if you do this.
We certainly aren't liable if you do this. Amber is.
No! I'm the one telling you no.
And I have Earl Grey. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, wonderful Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it haiku for Haiku Wednesday.
Don't abandon kids. Don't teach them violent jokes. Don't protect creepers.
I think those are all wonderful pieces of advice wrapped up in a haiku. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.